Hey guys, today we're going to talk about 529 plans. 529 plans are a great account for you to put money away for college savings, for high school, or even trade school for your kid. So this is a great way to invest for them, invest for their future. There's a lot of benefits to these types of accounts. There's mutual funds inside of them that you can actually invest the money into to try to help it grow. There's also target date mutual funds in there. If you looked at previous videos we talked about, target date funds are a great way to invest your money in one fund, and as, in this case, your child gets closer and closer to needing it, as in college age, it will become more and more conservative to help protect your money a little bit when you're actually going to need it. So in the beginning, when they're young, it's going to be more more aggressive. As they get closer to that age, we become more conservative. Inside of it is also going to be some tax-deferred growth. So just like your IRAs and 401ks, while it's in there invested, it's going to grow free from taxes. It's the best way to grow your money, and you're not going to have any kind of tax bill until you start taking money out. And that's if you don't use it for college. We'll get into that. There's also state tax deduction that you can use when you put money into it. So for example, you can't get a federal deduction, but you can get a state deduction as long as you use your state's plan, which we're going to go into in a little bit. These type of accounts are individual owners. So for example, the parent is technically in charge of this type of account for the child. It's the child's account, but the owner of the account is going to be the actual parent, and it can only be one of the parents. So you can have basically the other parent as the successor owner if something happens. So one parent has it. It's for the benefit of the child. There are state-specific investments. So for example, in the state of West Virginia, Hartford is the fund family that you need to use to get that state deduction. You should always check your state to see what your fund family should be. But as long as you use those particular fund families that you live in, you can actually usually get a state deduction for those contributions, which is a great added benefit. The money, when you go to take it out, needs to be used for educational purposes. If you use it for anything else, you will have to pay a penalty of 10% and pay taxes. Yes, it's better than not putting money away, but you need to use it for these benefits. And that can be room and board for the child, could be tuition, could be even a laptop, because you need a laptop to do anything anymore, really. And books, of course. But as long as you use it for education, the money can come out free of taxes, which is nice. Contribution limits. It goes from basically state to state and from company to company, but generally, for rule of thumb, you want to stick with your gifting amounts, which is around $18,000 per person. So a couple can actually give around $36,000 a year into this particular account per child. You want to stick with your contribution limits for your gifting limits. So that's a good way to look at it. Anything that's left over, so for example, you put money in this and it grows, and then there just happened to be a balance left over that you haven't used. They have changed some rules now and laws that now you can give up to 35% if you keep about $35,000 in that account or less. You can actually roll that over to the kid's Roth IRA for the rest of their lives, which is a great benefit. So if there is a little bit of money left over, that is a fantastic benefit to give a kid. A Roth IRA, they already have some money invested that they can use, growing free from taxes. That is actually not a bad benefit if there is something left over. And at the end of the day, if there's another kid that you have, or maybe another relative that is going to school that, let's say your kid gets a scholarship and they don't need the money, you can transfer this entire account over to that relative, still have zero taxes, and it can be used for their education. So there is ways that you can use some of the leftover funds if you're not using it.